All right, we'll go ahead and open up to your questions.
Sean, what changed in the second half, do you think, as a whole?
Yeah, I thought the coaches made good adjustments. Let's start there, and players executed.
We always hear about that, coaches making some adjustments. I mean, do you have any, whether it be your coordinators or your position coaches, can you give any examples of that we could shine a spotlight on as to what the difference was?
I don't know, Tim, specifically. I think it's just communication that, happens between players and coaches first as we leave the field or back end of the second quarter, and then communication that happens over my shoulder in the locker room, and being able to communicate that clearly to the players and in a short amount of time is important. I thought we obviously did a good job of that this week. It needs to continue to happen that way.
Kind of along those lines, you talked to Josh, and he talked about Miami came out schematically, very good game plan. And he talked about the need to adjust to it maybe earlier. But could you expand on that a little bit in that process and kind of what was going on out there and how your team was able to settle down in the second?
Well, I think, we were spinning the dial a little bit, trying to find answers and give Miami credit. They had us a little bit off balance there in the first half, and did some things, quite honestly, that they had success with in that first game, but didn't do them as much in that first game as they came out today and did. So, but again, we eventually found the answer and found the rhythm, and I give Brian Dable credit and the entire offensive staff.
Sean, is that a good step to take or obstacle to clear when, you are struggling for a good long time in that game, but to find a way to eventually, get it done and get the win on a game you weren't yet your best, probably.
Yeah, no, margins are tight in this league every week, no matter who you play, and that's what we have to expect. So, the detail is important, the discipline that we carry into every game, and us improving. We have certainly a lot to improve on, as you guys saw, and so it's important that we bring all that every week.
How much of a lift was it when that snap went up, Mike Gesicki and Jordan recovered that to prevent them from going up at the end of the first half?
Yeah, that was a big, big moment in the game. I don't know if that determined the outcome necessarily, but it was a good momentum shift and a good stop by our defense. So, that's a situation even a couple of plays before that we've got to do a better job with, and we'll continue to work in that area.
Sean, you said that it's not ideal with Spencer being out, like having to move some pieces around. You obviously had to shuffle some things, 3 different spots. How did you feel like all those people that were playing your spots performed in this game?
Yeah, I just think overall I like how they stayed resilient through the game. I thought Miami was doing a good job at the line of scrimmage against us in the first half, but our guys stuck with it, and they kept playing, and that was good to see.
Sean, you talk about Cole Beasley's game and just how much easier it is to make those adjustments when you have so many different playmakers to choose from. Diggs and Sanders aren't working today. Just turned to number 11. He made the big plays.
Yeah, he made huge plays. I think the one third down in particular in the fourth quarter over the middle there, just getting open, line, good protection, and then Josh made a great throw over the middle. I can't remember what. I think it was the second to last drive, maybe, 3rd and long. So it was good to see, really good to see. So he's a good football player for a reason, good feel, and Josh knows how to find him. So.
Sean,
You're without Dawson tonight. What did you lose not having him in the lineup, and what did you gain with Tommy Sweeney and Gabriel Davis stepping up and contributing?
Yeah, you never want to be without a guy like Dawson. It is good to see. I thought Tommy made some big time plays for us in key moments of the game, fourth quarter. Specifically, so you give Tommy a chance, he's going to make the catch, and he did in those situations. So it was good to see.
I know it's hard for you to talk about turning points of a game and all, but there seemed like there was one particular segment that it did turn when Kumaro recovered the muff punt, and then I think 2 plays later, Beasley made a huge 3rd down, and then you were on the way to the touchdown. Did you feel like that was kind of a big change in the way the game was going? Maybe?
Yeah, really smart play by Jake. Really smart play. It's important you get on that ball, or else it's totally different situation. We're not getting the ball potentially there or whatever. It's touchdown them or whatever. So it's important you finish plays in this league, not just for that reason, but every reason, right? And so yeah, that was a huge play in the game.
Coach Kevin Cheek, Challenger Community News. Now, you're going into halftime, it's a close game. Do you get with your coaches, or do you let your coaches get collectively with their players to figure it out?
I just do whatever I feel like the team needs most. You know, so I, again, give the coaches credit. They made the adjustments, and which was good to see, and players executed. So this is the NFL. Life in the NFL is every week. Life in the NFL is tight margins, and records don't matter. So you got to bring your A game every week and keep getting better as a football team. Sure.
Help but notice Josh's Halloween costume today as Phil. But he kind of, I mean, he talking to us here, he talked about the influence that conversation back in training camp had on him about learning how to play in frustrating situations. He called it finding his inner zen. Can you talk about how that all
Josh
came out?
called finding his inner zen?
Yeah, those were his words. And dealing with frustration and drawing on that meeting with Phil. Can you talk about how that came about and maybe its influence?
Yeah, you know, I don't know for sure. I know Josh, I think he has his own relationship with Phil, and where they have this little kind of volley that they're doing back and forth with one another. But we were able to get Phil through Derek and his staff, Kevin Kearns, get Phil for a little bit in training camp, and what a special, you know, moment that was for me, for our team, and an honor to you get a guy of that stature to talk to your team, and it was a pretty cool half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it was. So it was an awesome opportunity for us.
Talk about Kumerow's play and Poyer's play. How encouraging has it been for you to see your team come up with so many big plays and big moments, and how key do you think that has been to your success this year, just those big plays when you've needed them in those big moments?
Huge, man. I mean, that's what, at the end of the day, you know, the players have to make the plays. Coaches don't make the plays. Sometimes we as coaches take them out of position too often, but in that case, those guys made huge plays, and it's great to see. I'm a lot better coach with good players like that.
Sean, why were you I mean, just could you explain why you were amused by the concept of Josh finding his inner zen?
Well, if you tell me what Zen is, then I'll be able to. I'm trying to figure out what is Zen. I don't even know.
Peace, perhaps.
Yeah, John. I don't even. You're confusing me with all these fancy words. Maybe you should get Josh back in here, and he can sit here. He can tell you what Zen is.
That was a pretty scary first half, but you know, it is a bye week. So, how resilient was your guys to come and get some sort of rhythm coming off a bye week against a tough opponent?
Yeah. You always worry about that coming off a bye with the time off, time away, and probably the biggest thing I worry about is the game speed. You know, because it's hard to replicate that in practice. I thought our players and coaches did a great job this week in practice trying to give us that with our scout team. The guys that are never talked about, the bottom third of our roster, they did a phenomenal job trying to replicate game speed for us. So it's good to see.
Sean, last earlier you kind of mentioned grinding out this win a little bit and talked about that. In particular, Josh, you know, if the best pitcher doesn't have their fastball, being able to kind of adjust and figure it out and stay in the game and find a way to win. What did you see from him today?
Yeah, and really, Josh, that's the biggest takeaway from this game is you're not always going to come out and, you know, score, and in the games, you know, you're in a one-dimensional game, call it. So this game was like most games in the NFL. It comes down to the fourth quarter, and I thought that was good for us as a team. Now we got to build on it. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Happy Halloween.